As a way of illustrating Goodman's idea, let's play a game. Here's a bag. The bag contains baubles. I filled the bag with baubles at home this morning, and it's remained closed ever since. So the baubles have never yet been observed in this studio. And furthermore, it's now before the magic time. We're still a few minutes before that magic time of 4:09 on June the 8th, 2013. Now I'm going to start looking at these baubles. I'm just randomly taking baubles here. Here's one. What color is it? It's green. What schmuller is it? Well, it's Gru, because it's green and first observed before the magic time. Put it in my pocket. Another green and Gru one. Green and Gru. Two of them, both green and Gru. Another one, green and Gru. One more left in the bag. Okay, this one I'm going to look at a little bit later. I'm going to look at it after the magic hour. Okay, we'll in fact do that together. We'll look at this after 4:09 on June the 8th, 2013. So what about this remaining bauble? I want you to ask yourself, what colour is it and what schmuller is it? Is it Gru or Bleen? That's the schmuller. And is it green or blue? That's the colour. Now, if you're in any way sensible, I'm sure that you're thinking, well, let's start off with it's probably green, right? So, if it's probably green, then it's probably Bleen. Because we know that a thing that's green and not observed before the magic time is Bleen. So if you had to bet on the colour and schmuller of this item, I'm sure you'd be betting that it was green and Bleen. And that would be supported by inductive reasoning. Look, up to now, all the baubles we've seen coming out of this bag have been green, so probably the last one is green too. But notice that there's a very similar kind of reasoning to the alternative conclusion, an opposite conclusion. Every bauble that we've seen in this bag so far has been Gru. So probably the last bauble is going to be Gru too. But of course, if the last bauble is Gru, then it's not green, because this bauble is not observed before the magic time in this studio. So if the bauble is Gru, then it's blue. So we have one pattern of inductive reasoning that leads us to the conclusion that the last bauble is probably green, and we have a different pattern of inductive reasoning that leads us to the conclusion that the last bauble is probably blue. These are inconsistent. They have inconsistent conclusions. Can't be both green and blue. So the question is, who's right? They're both just using the schematic form of inductive reasoning. And if one of them's right, we're not going to be able to tell just by looking at the schematic form of the reasoning they're using. They're both thinking, yes, well, all the A's we've seen so far have been B's, so probably all A's are B, so probably this next A is a B. We have to look carefully about what this being B property is. On the one hand, the first person is taking what's relevant to be the fact that up to now all of the baubles have been green. The second person is taking what's relevant as the fact that up to now all the baubles have been Gru. We think, and I'm sure that you think, that the first person was reasoning well and the second person is reasoning badly. The way that Goodman would have put this is to say that that's because the first property, being green, is a projectable property. We should expect patterns of greenness in observed things in the world to continue into unobserved things in the world, whereas Gruness is a non-projectable property. We shouldn't expect patterns of Gruness in the world that we see in observed things in the world to continue into unobserved things in the world. And the challenge is to try to explain what distinguishes the projectable properties from the non-projectable properties, and why we rightly do induction on these projectable properties and wrongly do induction on the non-projectable properties.